Welcome back, math people. Today we are taking a look at Topic 2, Block 2, follow-up to Topic 2, Block 1. And today we are discussing unit rates for problem solving. We're just going to jump right in here. You see we've got a speedometer with a question mark in it. And an odometer. Now an odometer tells you how many miles your car travels. And it can be reset for trips. And you'll see that we have a time here of 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And what that means is, it takes us to here. It took Anthony 5 hours and 10 minutes to drive 296 miles between Chicago and St. Louis. We want to know what was his average speed in miles per hour. So, we can figure that out quite easily if we remember that when we look at things like miles per hour, that per is a very important word. That's a line. So, miles per hour. Okay? Now, we know that he traveled 296 miles in 5 hours and 10 minutes. Well, that doesn't give us the hours. So, really quickly, we're going to convert 5 hours and 10 minutes into just hours. So 5 hours and 10 minutes. Well, there are 60 minutes in an hour, so that would be 5 and 10/60 hours. That's what 5 hours, 10 minutes is. And we can simplify that into 5 and 1/6 hour. And even further, let's change it into a decimal. That would be 5.1666 repeating. We're just going to change that into 5.17 and call it good. So 5.7 hours. So again, 296 miles in 5.17 hours. Now, we want to know miles per 1 hour. So we're going to change this to 1 down below. Now, how do we get from 5.17 to 1? Well, you divide by 5.17. So I'm going to divide both of those by 5.17. And 296 divided by 5.17 is 57.25 miles. So we are all done at 57.25 miles per hour. Awesome. Now it says that Anthony left Chicago with a full gas tank. When he got to St. Louis, he filled the car back up. It took 8 gallons to fill the tank. What was the gas mileage for his 296-mile trip? And we're looking at this in miles per gallon. So now we're looking at miles per the line gallon. All right, we know how many miles he traveled, 296. We know how many gallons he used, 8 gallons. So, a little abbreviation here, 296 miles for 8 gallons. We want to know for 1 gallon. Again, how do we get from 8 gallons to 1 gallon? Divide by 8. Divide by 8 at the top also. 296 divided by 8 is 37. 37 miles for 1 gallon. So, what does that mean? His gas mileage was 37 miles per gallon. Miles per gallon. MPG. Okay, well, our last one here for this trip, it says that it cost $26.08 to fill the car with gas. What was the unit price for the gasoline? So we're looking for the unit price per gallon. Price per gallon, or the cost per gallon. Now remember, cost here in the United States is dollars. So how many dollars over how many gallons? Okay, well, we know that it cost 2608, and he used 8 gallons of fuel, according to the information. So 2608 divided by, because remember, we want to go to 1 gallon. So we divide by 8, divide by 8, and our price is $3.26 for 1 gallon. $3.26 per gallon of gas. Okay. Just practicing using unit rates and proportional reasoning. Irene took a trip to the San Diego Zoo, where they have panda bears. She traveled 693 miles. The trip took 11 hours, and she used 21 gallons of gas, and the total cost of the gas was $69.72. All that information is going to help us answer the next few questions. We want to know the average speed on her trip in miles per hour. Miles per hour. Okay, she traveled 693 miles, and she did that in 11 hours, according to the problem. So, how much is that for 1 hour? Well, how do we get from 11 to 1? Divide by 11. And we have to divide by 11 up here. So 693 divided by 11 is 63. So the average speed on our trip was 63 miles per hour. Okay. The next question asks the mileage that her car got on the trip in miles per gallon. Miles per gallon. So miles on top per gallon. How many miles was the trip? Well, again, 693 miles. How many gallons of gas did she use? Well, it says she used 21 gallons. So, how much is that for 1 gallon? Well, to get from 21 to 1, we have to divide by 21. And 693 divided by 21 is 33. 33 miles for 1 gallon. So, 33 miles per gallon was her gas mileage. That's pretty good. And the unit price that she paid for her gas, well, we're looking for the cost per gallon of gas. Cost per gallon. So that's going to be money over gallons. Okay, so how much did she spend? The total cost of the gas was $69.72. And how many gallons of gas did she use? 21 gallons. So, how do we turn that into 1 gallon to find out how much she spent for 1 gallon of gas? Well, to get from 21 to 1, we have to divide by 21. So we do the same thing up above. 69.72 divided by 21 is $3.32 per gallon. $3.32 per gallon. The price at the pump. All right. Now, that's one way of using unit rates. Now we're going to try something a little bit different, so pay attention. Now, a hybrid car gets 54 miles per gallon. So it'll travel 54 miles on 1 gallon of gas when it's traveling an average speed of 30 miles per hour. 30 miles in 1 hour. You travel in this car at a speed of 45 miles to your grandparents' house, and the gas at your nearest gas station is $3.23, and that's $3.23 per gallon. So the question is, we have to ask ourselves, how many hours will it take to get to grandparents' house? Well, now we're going to try things just a little bit backwards. We know that we are getting 54 miles per gallon. Whoops, that's not what it's asking. How many hours? So we're looking for hours. Well, you're driving 30 miles per hour. Okay, so 30 miles in 1 hour. And it is 45 miles to the grandparents' house. So 45 miles goes here. So we want to make a proportion. How many hours will it take? Well, we don't know. So we have to know, what do we have to do to get from 30 to 45? We're going to have to multiply by something, but what? Because whatever that is, we'll have to do the same thing here. Okay, so how do I, 30 times what equals 45? Well, I have to, 45, I'm going to divide that by 30. This is kind of like a scale factor problem. 45 divided by 30 is 1.5. So I am multiplying 30 times 1.5. And if I multiply that times 1.5, I'm going to multiply the hours times 1.5. And 1 times 1.5 is 1.5. So how many hours will it take to get to grandparents' house? It will take 1.5 hours. And we used unit rates kind of in reverse to get there. Let's try it again. How many gallons of gas will we use on the trip? So we're talking about gallons of gas. So let's look for information that contains that. 54 miles per gallon. So at 54 miles for 1 gallon of gas, how many miles are we traveling? 45 miles. So how many gallons will that be? Well, again, we're having to use scale factor kind of to get from 54 to 45. 54 to 45, what am I going to multiply by? Well, to find that out, I'm going to have to take 45, divide that by 54. That's 0.83 repeating, or just 0.83. And so 0.83 goes here, 0.83. So 1 times 0.83 is 0.83. So how many gallons of gas will it take? Well, less than 1. 0.83 gallons. And then how much are we going to spend on gas for the trip? Well, let's see. How much will we spend on gas? Well, we know the cost per unit of gas is $3.23, so it's $3.23 for 1 gallon. How much will that be for the amount of gas we are using, which is only 0.83 gallons? Well, how do I get from 1 to 0.83? Well, I'd have to multiply times 0.83. 1 times 0.83 equals 0.83. 323 times 0.83. $2.69. So how much will we spend on gas? We will only spend $2.69. Hybrid cars. All right. Well, as you can see, there isn't any more to do. So now all you have to do is make sure that you've gone through and copied all the notes down properly. And remember that now you're going to be doing topic 2, block 2, the form. So make sure that you get in there and get that done. Have a great day. Don't forget to be awesome. We'll see you next time.